More, what would change in your life if you began every morning by embracing the hope, purpose, and divine plan echoed through Jeremiah 29? Imagine waking before the noise when the world is still half asleep and your heart is most teachable. In that quiet, more you choose to believe that today is not random, you are not drifting, you are guided. The same God who shepherds history also shepherds your calendar, more, your conversations, and your choices. When you rise with this conviction, you stop chasing certainty and start walking in confidence. More, Jeremiah spoke to people who felt uprooted, tempted to give up on the present because the future felt far away. His counsel was simple and demanding: more. Live well where you are, even while you wait for where you're going. That is our blueprint each morning. Before deadlines and headlines tell you who you are, you decide, today I will build, plant, more and bless. Build what strengthens your character and household. Plant habits that will feed tomorrow. Bless the space you inhabit. Work, school, more neighborhood, with prayerful intention and steady kindness. Hope is not a vague wish, it is a posture. More, it lifts your eyes beyond immediate circumstances without denying them. When you start your day rooted in hope, more, you stop measuring God's faithfulness by today's convenience. You measure it by His presence in the process. More, you can show up fully to the mundane, emails, errands, budgets, because the mundane is often the workshop of miracles. More, nothing is wasted when placed in God's hands. Purpose is not discovered once, it is practiced daily. You don't stumble into it, you steward it. More, each morning ask 3 questions. Who can I serve? What can I create? Where can I make things better than I found them? More, purpose grows in the soil of these choices, and as you practice them, clarity increases, doors open, skills sharpen, community forms. More, the future you desire begins to take shape in the faithfulness you offer today. God's plan is not fragile. It does not collapse under delay, detours, more opposition. It weaves through them. So when the day surprises you, when the meeting is canceled, the deal falls through, more, the result disappoints, you do not unravel. You return to the posture you chose at sunrise. Pray first, act second, adjust with humility. More, plans made with God can be reworked with God. Flexibility is not failure, it's faith in motion. There is also a communal call in this chapter's wisdom. More, seek the good of the place where you are. Practically, that means refuse cynicism. Speak blessing over your city. Be the person who brings solutions. More, not just commentary. Encourage a colleague. Pay attention to the lonely. Tip generously. Mentor someone who reminds you of a younger you. More, when you invest in the well-being around you, you participate in the well-being that returns to you. Your peace is braided to the peace of your environment. More, do not despise the pace of God. Some seasons are about planting, not harvesting. You may feel hidden, but hidden does not mean forgotten. More, roots grow before fruit shows. Keep showing up. Keep building the unseen structures of prayer, integrity, and perseverance. When the visible breakthrough comes, it will stand on invisible foundations you laid in mornings like this. So, tomorrow, begin again. Sit with your journal. More, your plan, your open heart. Whisper, guide my steps. Write 3 lines, 1 thing to build, 1 habit to plant, 1 person or place to bless. More, then move into the day with expectancy. Expectancy is not entitlement, it's readiness. You are not forcing outcomes, you are preparing for them. More, you are living like someone who believes history is directed, not accidental, personal, not distant. More, starting each day with the spirit of Jeremiah 29 recalibrates everything. It teaches you to work while you wait, to dream without escaping, more to trust without drifting into passivity. You become a carrier of hope, a steward of purpose, and a partner in God's unfolding plan. And at day's end, more, whether the results were dazzling or ordinary, you can rest, because faithfulness is victory, and tomorrow you will rise to build, plant, and bless again. More, each day offers us a choice. Will we simply go through the motions? More, or will we step into the morning with an awareness that God has written this day into the great story of eternity? More, Beginning each morning by aligning your heart with God's timeline is more than a ritual. It is a recognition that life is guided, not random. More. Hope is not a fleeting feeling that rises and falls with moods or circumstances. It is a deliberate practice. More. A discipline of the heart that is renewed with the dawn. When you wake and remind yourself that you are part of a plan greater than your own. More. You stop measuring success by immediate outcomes and begin measuring it by faithfulness. Every sunrise is an invitation to see your life in context. More. To trust that your current chapter has meaning, even if you cannot yet see the ending. So often people allow mornings to be consumed by anxiety. More. The to-do list, the bills, the unanswered questions about the future. But if the first thing you choose is to align yourself with God's timing, more your perspective changes. You remember that delays are not denials and setbacks are not signs of abandonment. The day ahead may contain challenges, more, but when you start with alignment, you interpret those challenges differently. They are not random obstacles. They are woven into your journey for growth. More, for patience, for wisdom. Hope then becomes the lens through which you see the entire day. More, a steady flame that illuminates even when the path seems shadowed. Hope as a daily practice means choosing to rise with gratitude instead of grumbling. More, it means whispering a prayer of expectancy before reaching for your phone. It means believing that there is purpose in where you are. More, not just in where you wish to be. When you make hope your morning companion, it changes how you carry yourself. You face conversations with more patience, more tasks with more diligence, and disappointments with more resilience. It does not mean every day is easy. It means every day is meaningful. More, you begin to realize that the ordinary holds extraordinary weight when it is lived in alignment with God's design. Think of it this way. More, when an architect designs a building, every beam, every foundation, every angle is intentional. To the casual observer, some details may seem unnecessary. More, but without them, the structure would fail. In the same way, God's timeline for your life includes seasons, moments, and even delays that seem puzzling. More, but they are the beams and foundations of your destiny. By starting the day in alignment, you acknowledge that even unseen details are purposeful. More, you learn to rest in trust rather than wrestle in doubt. You learn to move steadily, not frantically. More, because you know the one who holds tomorrow is already present in today. The act of aligning with God each morning is like setting the compass of your soul. More, if you fail to set it, you drift. If you set it toward His hope, you walk steadily toward your future, even through winding paths. More, hope is the magnet pulling you toward what is promised, and daily alignment is how you keep that magnet strong. Some mornings you may feel it powerfully, other mornings it may feel faint, but feelings are not the measure of truth. Faithfulness is. Choosing alignment daily, even when emotions resist. More is how hope transforms from a word into a lived reality. So let each sunrise remind you you are part of something eternal. This day is not wasted, more nor is it without meaning. Align your heart with God's long view timeline. Walk into the morning with hope as your posture, not your preference. More, step into task with confidence, because purpose is not waiting in tomorrow, it is present in today. And as you practice this alignment daily, more, you will find yourself not just surviving days, but shaping them, not just waiting for the future, but participating in it with trust and joy. More, that is the power of starting each morning in alignment with God's plan. You live with assurance that every moment, no matter how small, more matters in the unfolding of His greater design. Purpose is not discovered in one grand moment of revelation. More, it is often uncovered in the simple faithfulness of daily living. Many people spend years searching for a single dramatic sign that defines their calling. More, but purpose rarely arrives that way. Instead, it emerges in the ordinary, in the tasks we would otherwise dismiss as insignificant. More, the truth is that purpose is found in today's ordinary assignments, and it is through those small, faithful steps that the larger, more divine strategy unfolds. Every day becomes an opportunity to participate in something greater than ourselves. More, even when we do not fully understand how our small acts fit into God's eternal plan. When you begin to see life through this lens, more, you no longer treat the routine moments as wasted time. Making breakfast for your family, showing up to work on time, encouraging a friend, more, or even handling responsibilities that seem dull or unimportant. Each one is a thread woven into the fabric of God's larger design. Too often, more, people wait for extraordinary opportunities, all the while overlooking the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Purpose is not waiting in the future. More, it is being built through what you are doing right now. The smallest actions carry eternal weight when they are done with faith, integrity, and love. Consider how seeds work. A single seed, when planted, seems so small and unimpressive. It gets buried in the soil, unseen and uncelebrated. More, yet within it lies the potential for fruit, for shade, for nourishment, even for forests. Daily assignments are like seeds. More, they may seem unimpressive today, but when planted faithfully, they grow into something much larger than you could have imagined. More, your task is not to control how quickly they grow, but to plant them well and nurture them daily. God takes care of the growth, the timing, and the harvest. More, this perspective transforms the way you approach your responsibilities. Instead of resenting the season you are in, you learn to embrace it. More, instead of saying, "I'll start living with purpose when things change," you say, "More, I will live with purpose where I am right now." Purpose is not just what you accomplish at the end of your life. It is how you live in the process. More, each email sent with excellence, each conversation handled with kindness, each commitment honored with integrity. These things matter. They are not filler. More, they are the very substance of your calling. What often discourages people is the gap between their vision of the future and their present reality. More, they dream of great things but find themselves stuck in tasks that feel too small to matter. Yet this is where purpose is truly formed. More, greatness is built on foundations of consistency. The large doors of destiny swing on small hinges of daily obedience. God does not waste any detail. More, He uses each moment to shape your character, your skills, and your capacity for greater responsibility. What seems like delay is actually preparation. More, what feels like insignificance is actually training ground. If you can learn to honor the ordinary, you will be entrusted with the extraordinary. More, faithfulness in today's assignment is what opens the door to tomorrow's opportunities. Even when no one notices, even when it feels monotonous, more, your steady steps are building a momentum that will carry you forward. Life's purpose is not only about arriving at a destination. More, it is about walking in alignment with God each day. So instead of asking, "When will my purpose begin?" ask, "More, how can I live with purpose in this very moment?" Ask yourself, "Who can I serve today? How can I do this task with excellence?" More, where can I bring light into a space that feels dark? By doing so, you transform every action into a purposeful act of faith. Purpose is not distant. More, and it is not hidden. It is here in your daily assignments, waiting to be lived out step by step. And as you remain faithful in those steps, more, you will one day look back and see how the ordinary path you walked was, in fact, the very divine strategy that led you to your destiny. More, where you are right now is not an accident, and the season you are walking through is not meaningless. Every place, every moment, more, every circumstance has a purpose in God's greater design. Too often, people live as though their current situation is just a waiting room, more a temporary holding place until real life begins. They say things like, "When I get that job," or "When I move to that city," or "When I finally have the resources, more, then I'll start living with intention." But the truth is that life is happening now, and God is present in the very environment you are in today. More, the call is not to despise your current place, but to seek its good, to invest in it, and to grow within it while you wait for the next chapter. More, when we begin to view our surroundings as divinely appointed, our mindset shifts. Instead of complaining about where we are, more. We look for opportunities to contribute. Instead of wishing for escape, we ask how we can make the place where we stand better because of our presence. More, this attitude transforms not only us but also the community around us. Every workplace, every household, more, every neighborhood is shaped by the spirit we bring into it. If we sow seeds of kindness, excellence, and peace where we are, more, those seeds bear fruit not only for others but also for ourselves. The welfare of your surroundings is intertwined with your own well-being. More, when the place you inhabit thrives, you thrive too. This perspective also teaches patience. It reminds us that seasons of waiting are not wasted. More, sometimes God keeps us in a particular environment longer than we expect because there are lessons to learn, character to strengthen, more, and people to influence. You may feel like you are in a detour, but what if this detour is the very path that is shaping you for the future you desire? More, what if the relationships you are forming now, the habits you are building, more, or the discipline you are practicing will be the exact tools you need for what is coming next? More, when you begin to trust that your current placement is intentional, you stop rushing to escape and start engaging with purpose. More, even in environments that feel difficult, the call remains the same: to seek the good of the place. Maybe your workplace is full of negativity. More, but you can be the one who brings encouragement. Maybe your home feels heavy with division, but you can be the one who prays peace into it. More, maybe your community seems broken, but you can be the one who builds bridges and spreads hope. By seeking the welfare of your surroundings, you shift from passivity to participation, from frustration to transformation. More, you stop being a victim of your environment and become a vessel of change within it. What you pour into your present directly influences your future. More, if you sow apathy, you reap stagnation. If you sow bitterness, you reap isolation. But if you sow diligence, love, and faith, you reap growth, favor, more, and peace. That is why every moment matters. Nothing is too small to invest in with excellence. More, even mundane tasks can be acts of worship when offered with the right heart. Cleaning a room, finishing an assignment, more, listening attentively to someone, all of these, though simple, build character and reflect God's presence in your life. So instead of asking, when will I finally get to where I'm supposed to be? Ask, what am I meant to do with where I am right now? That shift changes everything. More, it moves you from waiting to working, from drifting to directing, from complaining to creating. This is not about settling, it is about sowing. More, you are not abandoning your dreams for the future. You are cultivating the soil of today so that your dreams have a place to grow tomorrow. More, where you are is not random. Your steps are ordered, your placement is purposeful, and your presence has power. Seek the good of your surroundings. More, plant seeds where you stand. Bless the environment you inhabit. In doing so, you prepare not only the ground around you, but also the ground within you. More, and when the time comes for God to open the next door, more, you will step through it not empty-handed, but carrying the fruit of faithfulness from the season you honored right where you were. More, planning with God is not about forcing your will into His timeline, but about learning the rhythm of partnership, praying first, acting second, more, and adjusting with humility as you go. Too often, people live their lives in reverse. They act first, driven by impulse or pressure, more, then pray later when things fall apart, and resist making adjustments because pride convinces them that change means failure. More, but the divine order flips this around. Prayer anchors you before decisions are made. Action follows prayer as an outflow of discernment. More, and humility keeps you pliable when God redirects your path. More, this process transforms planning from a frantic attempt to control life into a peaceful surrender that still takes bold, intentional steps. When you begin by praying, you are acknowledging that wisdom does not start with you. Prayer is a moment of alignment, more, where you invite God's perspective to overshadow your limited vision. It's like looking at a map with a guide who knows the terrain, the shortcuts, more, and the hazards you cannot see. Without prayer, you plan with a narrow lens, missing potential pitfalls or opportunities. With prayer, your decisions carry a sense of clarity, even when details remain unknown. Prayer does not always give you every answer up front, but it gives you confidence to move forward, knowing you are not walking alone. Once prayer has grounded you, action is the next step. Faith without action is just wishful thinking. Too many times people pray for doors to open, but never take the steps toward the door. Planning with God means you move forward even if the steps feel small. It may mean starting the project with the resources you already have instead of waiting for everything to be perfect. It may mean reaching out to someone, applying for the opportunity, or beginning the habit today instead of endlessly waiting for the right moment. Action is where faith is tested, because prayer sets the vision but action demands trust. You will rarely feel fully ready, but readiness is not the requirement. Obedience is. Still, even after prayer and action, you must hold your plans loosely, because life rarely unfolds exactly the way you pictured it. Adjustments are inevitable, and humility is what allows you to make them without resentment. Many people view adjustments as proof of failure. If I were truly on the right path, everything would have worked out exactly as I planned. But the truth is that God often uses adjustments to refine both the path and the person. What you call a setback may simply be a redirection. What looks like a closed door may actually be a shield from something you cannot yet see. Flexibility is not weakness, it is strength rooted in trust. A rigid heart breaks when plans change, but a humble heart bends and finds new shape in God's design. This threefold rhythm, pray, act, adjust, also keeps you free from extremes. Without prayer, action turns reckless. Without action, prayer turns stagnant. Without humility, adjustments turn into bitterness. But together, they create balance. You seek God first, you step out boldly, and you remain teachable along the way. That balance allows you to live with both confidence and surrender. You can plan your days with intentionality, yet you can sleep peacefully at night knowing you are not carrying the full weight of control. Every great plan is a conversation with God. It starts with listening, it moves forward with courage, and it adapts with grace. If you learn this rhythm, you will discover that even when your path twists and turns, you remain on track because the planner of all things is guiding your steps. And when you look back years later, you will see that the plans you prayed through, acted on, and adjusted with humility became the very chapters that carried you toward your destiny. Delays are not denials, and transformation often unfolds in seasons, not seconds. This truth is one of the hardest for us to embrace because we live in a culture of immediacy. We want everything now, answers, breakthroughs, solutions, results. Yet God's timing is rarely about instant gratification. Instead, it is about steady growth, deep preparation, and the unfolding of events in their proper season. Waiting is not wasted time when it is held in the hands of God. It is sacred space where He works both in you and around you. Understanding this reshapes how you endure delays. Instead of seeing them as evidence of rejection, you learn to view them as seasons of refinement. Think about how nature reveals this principle. Seeds do not sprout overnight. Trees do not bear fruit the moment they are planted. Each one follows a process that includes seasons of invisibility. Beneath the soil, roots are stretching, systems are forming, and strength is being established. To the untrained eye, it looks like nothing is happening, but in reality, everything necessary for survival and abundance is taking place underground. Your life is the same. The quiet seasons, the times when nothing seems to be moving forward, are often the most important seasons because they build foundations you will later depend on. Transformation is not an event, it is a process. The person you are becoming is being shaped in ways you may not fully see yet. The lessons you learn in waiting seasons equip you for responsibilities you could not handle if they came too quickly. A delay might be God's way of strengthening your endurance, deepening your faith, or sharpening your character. If the doors you long for open too soon, more, you might step into them unprepared, and what should have been a blessing could turn into a burden. More, God's wisdom ensures that what is meant for you will arrive not only at the right time, but also when you are ready to carry it. More, it is easy to confuse silence with absence and delay with denial, but neither is true in the kingdom of God. More, just because your prayer has not been answered yet does not mean it has been ignored. More, just because your vision has not materialized yet does not mean it will not come to pass. Waiting stretches you, and in that stretch, more, you discover strength you did not know you had. It also humbles you, more, teaching you that life is not about controlling outcomes, but about trusting the one who holds them. Delays also teach you to value what is coming. More, when something is handed to you without effort, it is easy to take it for granted. But when you have labored in patience, prayed with persistence, more, and endured with hope, you will treasure the fulfillment when it arrives. More, the waiting period makes the reward more meaningful because you recognize the cost of perseverance that carried you through. More, every season of delay adds weight to the joy of breakthrough. Seasons also remind us that life moves in cycles, not straight lines. More, just as there is a time to sow and a time to reap, there are times when progress is visible and times when progress is hidden. More, your role is not to force the season to change, but to be faithful in the one you are in. If it is a time to sow, then sow with diligence. More, if it is a time to rest, then rest with trust. If it is a time to wait, then wait with expectancy. Each season has its own purpose, and when lived fully, more, it prepares you for the next. So when delays come, do not despair. See them as invitations to trust deeper, to grow stronger, and to prepare more fully. More, what you think is slow may actually be perfect timing. What feels like a setback may actually be a setup for something greater. More, transformation unfolds in seasons, because God is not just interested in giving you what you want. He is shaping you into who you need to become. More, and when the right season arrives, you will step into it not unprepared and fragile, but rooted, ready, more, and transformed by the process that once felt like delay. A hopeful future grows not from distant dreams or sudden breakthroughs, but from what you build, more, plant, and bless right now. Too often, people imagine their future as something that will simply appear one day, more as if destiny will knock on the door and usher them into greatness without preparation. But the truth is, more, the future is already being shaped by today's choices, habits, and investments. Each action you take, no matter how small, more becomes a seed planted in the soil of time. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly sowing more, and what you reap tomorrow will depend on what you decide to sow today. To build is to create structures that outlast the moment. More, when you choose to build character, integrity, discipline, or faith, more, you are constructing inner walls and foundations that will support the weight of your future. Buildings do not rise without blueprints, more, and neither do lives of purpose. Every act of discipline, like waking up on time, honoring commitments, or keeping promises, more, adds a brick to the structure of your destiny. Without building, dreams collapse under pressure because there is no strength to carry them. More, when you choose to build daily, whether it's building trust in relationships, skills in your work, more, or consistency in your walk with God, you are ensuring that your future will have a strong and steady framework. More, to plant is to put something into the ground today with faith that it will grow tomorrow. Planting always requires patience. More, because you cannot see immediate results. Yet planting is the clearest demonstration of hope because it says, I believe the future will come, more, and I trust what I put in the ground today will multiply later. The habits you form, the prayers you whisper, more, the words of encouragement you speak, these are seeds. They may not look significant now, more, but they hold potential for impact far beyond what you can imagine. If you sow generosity, you will reap abundance. If you sow bitterness, more, you will reap isolation. Every seed matters, which is why being intentional about what you plant in your heart, mind, and environment is so critical. More, to bless is to pour goodness into others and into the spaces you occupy. Blessing is more than just words. More, it is a way of living that seeks the flourishing of others. When you bless your workplace with excellence, you make the environment better. More, when you bless your family with patience and love, you create an atmosphere of peace. When you bless strangers with kindness, more, you open doors of hope they may have thought were closed. Blessing others is not only about their benefit, it returns to you in ways you cannot predict. More, a future filled with favor often begins with a present filled with blessing. The measure you give is the measure that often finds its way back to you. More, this threefold pattern, building, planting, and blessing, is how you partner with God in creating a hopeful future. More, it reminds you that the future is not just about waiting but about working. It is not something that suddenly appears. More, but something that is formed little by little through faithfulness. Even when life feels stagnant, you can still build. Even when results seem invisible, more, you can still plant. Even when you feel unnoticed, you can still bless. These choices are powerful because they transcend circumstances. More, no one can take from you the ability to build, plant, or bless. What often discourages people is the gap between where they are and where they want to be. More, they dream of a life filled with meaning, joy, and success, but they overlook the fact that such a life is the sum of countless small, faithful decisions. More, you cannot control every outcome, but you can control what you sow each day. And when you commit to building what is right, planting what is good, more, and blessing where you stand, you set into motion a future that is filled with hope and aligned with God's plan. So do not despise small beginnings. More, do not dismiss today as insignificant. The hopeful future you long for is not waiting on some distant horizon. It is being formed right now. More, through the bricks you lay, the seeds you plant, and the blessings you release. One day when you look back, more, you will realize that the life you dreamed of was not built overnight, but was carefully crafted through years of building, planting, more, and blessing with faith and consistency. That is how hope moves from promise to reality, from expectation to fulfillment. More, the heart of this message is simple yet profound. Each new day is an opportunity to live with hope, to walk with purpose, more, and to trust in God's divine plan. Life is not random, and neither are the seasons you are walking through. Every morning, more, you have the choice to align your heart with His timing, to embrace the ordinary as sacred, to seek the good of the place where you stand, more, to plan with prayer and humility, to wait with patience when delays come, and to build, plant, and bless as a way of preparing for the future. More, when you live like this, you stop treating life as something that just happens to you. More, and you begin to see it as a divine partnership, one where your faithfulness in today writes the story of tomorrow. More, you no longer measure success by how quickly things happen, but by how consistently you remain aligned with God's direction. More, you no longer fear the waiting seasons, because you know they are filled with unseen growth. You no longer doubt your purpose. More, because you see it woven into every task, every encounter, every step. The beauty of starting each day this way is that it shifts your posture. More, you rise not with anxiety but with expectancy, not with heaviness but with hope, not with confusion but with trust. More, you may not know all the details of the path ahead, but you know the one who guides it. And that assurance allows you to walk confidently, to dream boldly, more, and to live faithfully. So as you move forward, carry this truth with you. A hopeful future is not just promised. It is prepared. More, it is being formed through the choices you make today, through the seeds you plant, and through the blessings you release. More, step into each morning with courage, live each day with intention, and rest each night with peace. More, knowing that you are right in the middle of God's unfolding plan. That is where true strength, true joy, and true purpose are found.